Yo, what's good, family? This is the Deeper One. It's a Deeper Love podcast. This is a bonus episode because someone reminded me that I told you guys that I was going to talk about the dudes and I was going to talk about some issues with the fellas and the uncompetitive male, because 2 episodes I talked about the uncompetitive female. And so I told y'all in the last season finale episode that that one's the last one, but this is going to be a bonus episode. So it is a bonus. So I'm going to get this off. I'm going to let you know this episode is going to be the transition to a higher level season and season 2 of the Deeper Love podcast. We going deep. We done talked about the basics. We done did all we can do on the basics. Now it's time to get deep and get super critical in these issues that we're gonna talk about with love and self. So here we go. I'm gonna be talking to the fellas in this video, but ladies, this can apply to you, and this can apply to your mans if you got an issue with your mans. So a lot of y'all complain, a lot of you ladies complain about fellas, a lot of ladies complain about y'all fellas of too much feminine nature in some of you boys out here today. And I can agree with that. I can agree with it. Because man, where do I start? There's so much we can unpack. But I talked about the 2 episodes ago in the uncompetitive female and talking about, I told the ladies that some of them are lazy. I told the ladies that some of them are not trying to do their best and be the best person they could be to land the man, the kind of man that they want, instead of them continuing to land on some of you bum ass, dusty ass dudes out here. So what we're going to talk about today is this is going to hurt some feelings, but some feelings need to be hurt. It's not personal. If it applies to you, I'm not sorry. It's time to get right. Time to get right, fellas. And there's some issues that we're going to have to point out, that we're going to have to talk about, that's going to be upsetting. And you're going to know by the end of this episode if I'm indeed the person you are talking about. And for the ladies that are listening to this, you're going to know if this is your man's. Now, what we're seeing today is a lot of dudes have gotten soft. There's a lot of soft men out here. There's a lot of broken men out here. And some of this, let's just be honest. A lot of this is the result of a lot of men in a certain age bracket that were raised by a single mother, and they didn't have men to show them how to be men. They didn't have a man to show them how to be competitive out here and have desire in the world. And that's a problem. And that is manifesting itself today in these men and their level of desire to be competitive and their desire to be successful. And we're going to talk about this because one of the biggest complaints that I hear, as a matter of fact, this morning I was talking to somebody in my DM and they was telling me about the issues where they're having dudes that wanted women to support them and pay for things. That's come on now. That's not men don't do that. Like, how can you even utter that shit out of your mouth. You should be ashamed. One of the biggest things that I see is not having a plan. Now, men, you got to have a plan. But this can apply universally, and this can apply to women too, is not having a plan. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. You're going to fail by failing the plan. I forgot it's been a while since I heard the line, but you know what I mean. But you need to have a plan. Now, you need fellas to be shooting for excellence. And I see a lot of guys out here that are not shooting for excellence. And especially black men. You should be shooting for excellence. Why is that? First, because you're a black man. So you need to work twice as hard. 3 times as hard as your white counterpart for the same level of success. And to be better, you have to work even harder. No black men should be out here not trying to shoot for excellence. And I see a lot of dudes out here that are not shooting for excellence. And I see a lot of women out here that are allowing it. I see a lot of women out here that are saying, oh, don't be so hard on yourself. And that's for the builders and the producers, somebody out here that's doing something. I would hate to see what you're doing for the ones that ain't doing shit. A lot of you got men at home that ain't going nowhere. That's not doing nothing. That's just existing. Some of y'all out here got men that don't have jobs. You got men that don't have cars. You got men that don't have purpose. See, competitive man has a plan. A competitive man knows why he's here on earth. A competitive man wants to be great. He knows why he wants to be great, and he can tell you about it down to the T. He's out here getting knowledge. He's busy. He's out here acting, putting action, taking the critical steps to get towards this excellence, this greatness, this success that he's chasing. That's the difference. And if you ain't got a man that can tell you the plan, because let me tell you something. If he ain't got a plan for himself, how the hell do you think he damn well gonna have a plan for you? If he don't have a plan for himself, what makes you think he is gonna have a plan for you? See, y'all out here looking for swag and incidental characteristics that attracts you to a man, but you're not paying attention to what he's actually doing. And this is what gets a lot of you ladies in trouble with these dudes. This is what gets some of you ladies who are out here screaming there ain't no good man. These are the kind of men that you're dealing with. Now, and I could go into the reason as to I know why y'all dealing with these kind of men, but that's a whole nother episode. that's a whole nother episode. So, fellas, it's time to put your plan together. You can't just say you want to do something. You got to set a goal, and you got to have to set a goal with benchmarks. And that's what y'all not doing. And this can apply to anybody. A lot of people say they want to do something, but have no plan of attack. And then when they're asked, well, how do you plan on doing that? And they say they don't know, that's a red flag. That's showing they're not serious about. Now, you need, ladies, to insisting on tangible progress. And this trips people up. It trips people up. And if you're not, and I know why some of you are afraid to do this, because it can create a conversation with tension. If you tell me you are going to do something, I am going to continue to ask you to show me the progress towards that goal. I can't just assume that just because you said that you want to do something or you're going to do something, that you're doing it. And the worst response that you can give somebody that's looking for benchmarks and checking progress is I'm trying. Especially if you have nothing to show how you're trying. And a lot of men do this. I mean, people do this, but especially dudes do this. There's steps that go into achieving a goal. We don't just say, oh, well, this is my goal. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be an entrepreneur in 2021. And then 2021 comes and poof, you an entrepreneur. That's not how this works, fellas. You need checkpoints. And you need your lady to provide you with them checkpoints. Ladies, you need to be checking progress. You need to hold people accountable. Fellas, you got to have goals. You got to have benchmarks. You have to be competitive out here. Some of y'all be competitive over these women. And that should be the last thing you should be out here trying to be competitive about if you ain't got yourself together. Progress. A lot of you not able to show progression into your plan. You see, I've had this plan to be doing what I'm doing right now for years. And I wanted to do this. I had in my head all these years, I want to do this. But I had no plan. None. I had nothing written down. Nothing. But what you see, and if you're watching this video, you see this is part of the plan because you're watching this video. If you're listening to my podcast, you see my progression towards my goal as I create more podcasts for you to sit and listen to and videos for you to sit and watch. That's the progression towards my goal because I need to create content towards my goal for my coaching, for the book that I'm writing. All of these things are an investment towards my goal. Now, this one's for you ladies. This is for anybody, but we're talking about the fellas, so I'm addressing the ladies here. If you are investing yourself into somebody and sharing a life with somebody, you need to be very well invested in the steps that the other person, that this man is supposed to be taking towards his own success. And a lot of you are afraid to ask for these benchmarks. You're afraid to pull these checkpoints. You're afraid to ask what the progress towards the goal is. You've let dudes waste your time. You let people waste your time. You done allowed too many people to tell you that they don't have to deliver specifics. And I tell you, that's what makes that conversation difficult. Because when you keep asking him, where's the progress towards the goal, he's going to get upset the more that you ask him. But you got to insist on it. You have to insist on it. You have to see that he is serious. You have to see that he's serious. You have to look for these excuses. And fellas, you got to stop giving these excuses. Y'all are full of excuses out here of why you're not getting things done. I know I've been there. I've given myself excuses because I've always been self-motivated. I ain't never really need nobody to motivate me. If I'm throwing excuses out there, I'm throwing excuses out there to myself. I have never needed anybody to push me. And the reason I am where I am right now because I've had these goals and I ain't had no plan. But here's one that y'all really gotta. This one's hard, for the fellas. But you need it. You need this And you got to have shame. And there's a lot of y'all that have no shame. You should be shameful if, as a man, especially a man over 30, to have a baseline, basic level of success and survival in this world. Hold up. Yo, let me fix that. I got this little suction cup thing that holds my phone up. That bitch was about to fall, and we want to make sure that didn't happen. As I was saying, you need to have shame. And there's a lot of y'all out here that don't have shame. You should be shameful that you can't afford to live by yourself. You should be shameful that you're living with your moms. You should be shameful that you are living with your woman. You should be shameful that you don't have a job. You should be shameful that you're not performing, you're not producing, you're not building. You should be shameful that you don't have your own car. You should be shameful if you need your woman to provide you the basic things that you should have as a man. You should be shameful when your girl has to pay for your Uber. Y'all know that know me, no, boy, that fucking kills me when dudes ain't even using their own Uber. It's just, and some of y'all got no shame. None. You need to be ashamed. You need to be ashamed. And you need to acknowledge your failure. You need to have shame for your failure. See, y'all are holding the wrong things. And I said this a couple videos ago, that you care about things matter to you that don't matter. See, things that matter to you is out here flexing for the gram, flexing at the club, trying to make sure you got the latest fit at the club, throwing your money away on rentals at Enterprise just to flex and floss for other dudes. But you don't got nothing. Now I know damn well this thing has cooperated all the time, but now when I want to do videos, you wanna be tripping? Hey, come on now. Come on. We can't. The thing is, I don't got a case on my phone, so if this phone falls, boy, it's gonna be it. But anyway, shame. I ain't seen enough shame out here. Not enough shame. See, I'm ashamed when I'm not doing what I need to do. I'm ashamed when I have to be out here struggling to take care of my business. I'm ashamed of that. I want to be the realist to myself, but also real, especially to everybody that's watching me, that I'm not, I'm just not out here just flexing for y'all, just showing y'all that, this is what you see. This is it. This is the flex. And then when I get off the video, I go back to my box under the freeway overpass. You know what I'm saying? Shame. And let me tell you what some of the positions when you're not having shame puts you. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a text. Yo, like I just said, we real over here. We real. You should be ashamed that you don't have goals. You should be ashamed that you're not working towards your goals. It's time to have some shame. There's nothing wrong with that. And ladies, you are dating these men, and you have to take some responsibility for dating these men. Because see, the thing is you out here letting these shameful men giving a bad name for the rest of us who actually are working, who actually are doing something, who actually has a goal. But let me tell you this quick though. A lot of y'all like these men because they're available. They can be around for when you need them. Y'all like men that you can control. And these type of men are easily controlled. But that's a different episode. Fellas, you need to be ashamed of your choices, your bad choices. You need to be ashamed of some of the people you've allowed in your space. Some of the women you've allowed in your space. Some of the women that you have procreated with. You need an elephant of shame that drives you. What drives you? Ladies, ask your man what drives him. I want find out the answer and DM me the answer of what he says. See, I can tell you what drives me quick, fast. But you can see working on it. One of the major benchmarks of being this uncompetitive dude is that you ain't ashamed. And I'm gonna beat this down to you. Shame. I know a lot of men that are not ashamed. And you're failing. You're out here failing. You're failing in relationships. You're not ashamed of failure in career, failure in not making money, failure in not achieving. And that's a red flag. That is a red flag. You should not be okay with that, fellas. You shouldn't be okay with it, period. As a man, you need to be ashamed if you're not respected. You are supposed to be ashamed if you're not respected. I know I'm hurting feelings right now, but you didn't have nobody there to teach you these things. Our whole psyche is built on respect, fellas. And if you don't got respect from people, you need to be ashamed of that. And if you don't have respect from your lady especially, you should be ashamed of that. And a lot of y'all walking around not caring. It doesn't matter to you, and that should matter to you. So many of y'all out here failing and complaining and whining and bitching and not doing anything. It's time to get up off your ass. This is how you make poor choices. You end up in shitty ass jobs. You end up in dating the wrong women. And you need to understand one of the most important things. A lot of y'all are out here just chasing and procreating with trash. Your woman is a reflection of you. And if you're dating trash, what is that a reflection of? You being trash. And you shouldn't be okay with that. You shouldn't be okay with things not looking right. You shouldn't be okay without. You should be okay. Yeah, without shit looking right. And a lot of y'all know there's shit in your life that you know ain't looking right. And you're not ashamed enough about it. You settling, you got low standards. A lot of y'all will stick your dick in anything. And that's a problem. Then you got all these kids running around. And this can apply to you too, ladies, because a lot of you done allowed some trash dick to get into you, and then you had kids by these men. But we gonna cover that in season 2. So it's time to excel, fellas. You see, too many of y'all around here acting like your presence is value enough. And you're not providing any real value. And you're full of excuses. You're mad, you're in your feelings, you're sensitive as fuck, you dependent. That's not attractive, fellas. Just because you can slang some good D or you got a big D and you know you 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 feel like you got some street cred, whatever. Like that is that all you're trying to survive on? How, I mean, how is that being driven? Hmm? I get it. I can understand circumstances. I can understand circumstances of not having a man there to share what I'm sharing with you today. That's setting the standard, setting the benchmark. I get it. You haven't had men there to do that, and you need a man there to do that. You gonna learn some things hard, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like that I ain't been there because I've learned a lot of hard lessons. And I had a father that taught me how to be a man. He passed away when I was in my early 20s, but I learned the baselines of what I needed to learn to get me through life. But I've allowed poor decision making, and I've had failures. I've made mistakes. I've chosen the wrong people. But see, those things, that's what builds character. That's what builds wisdom. That's what builds in people listening to the words that I'm speaking out of my mouth currently to you. You see, a lot of y'all like to listen to people that had already made it. You didn't see them in the struggle. You didn't see them in the building phase. You didn't see them in the producing phase. But what you see right here is you see me in the building phase. You see me in the producing phase. You see me going through the trials and the tribulations of trying to achieve greatness and excellence. And my strategy is to do that through here, through this, through the gram, through building a coaching business, through building an apparel brand, through building a legacy, a business that I can pass on to my children at someday. That's the desire. What do you desire? Now, ladies, this one's for you. You got to take some credit in some of this because you need to be able to recognize these failures. You need to be able to recognize these lack of benchmarks, the lack of strategy, the lack of a plan. You see, competitive dudes are big dreamers. We don't have vision. We don't have mediocre visions. We are always trying to become a better person than the day before. We're always trying to evolve. We're always trying to do more. And the thing is, some of y'all don't like that because that requires a lot of time on our part, which means a little bit less time for you. So y'all settle for these dudes with no dreams, no goals, no strategies because he's available. He can be there. He's there all the time. I dated a girl, and one of the things that she said to me, she hated the fact that I was always busy. And she would tell me shit like, well, my ex-husband, he would show up at all my son's sports games and everything. But one of the things, y'all, he didn't have a job. But yet she complained about him having a job. How does that work? So you upset with me because I'm out here chasing dreams and doing what I need to do for myself. It don't make no sense. You need to be asking your man if he got a plan. You need to be checking for what he's doing. You need to be seeing, because if you expect to spend a future with a man, you need to see if he has the ability to make accomplishments and what he's done successfully, because you need to see if he's going to be able to do that for you and your family if you get there. You need to be checking for goals. You need to be checking them benchmarks. And if he telling you he got big dreams, he needs to be showing you the steps that he's taken. He needs to show you what he's completed, what he's checked off. If your man say he want to be a rapper, okay, what's he doing to do that? Is he writing rhymes? Does he got a rhyme book? Has he been working on that unsuccessful rap career forever, but ain't really been doing anything to change the level of success of it? See, y'all being sold on these dreams out here. You're being sold. And fellas, y'all are selling these dreams and you're just disappointing. And then you making it harder for the builders, the producers out here. You got no drive. You need to have the drive. Your woman shouldn't be driving you. You need to be driving you. You need to be out here demanding respect. It's not given, it's earned. And you got to do the work to earn it. Some of y'all out here think you should just get respect just because, and you ain't doing a damn thing. You need to give her something to respect. And she shouldn't just respect you because you spend a little money of your little money. Are you giving her good deed? Boy, I know it's heavy. Ladies, you need to be out here dating men with vision. You see, too many of y'all are out here trying to find the complete man. And the thing is, a lot of y'all want a complete man and you're not complete yourself. Because a complete man is going to want a completed woman. Let's just be honest. But then the rest of you are out here settling for everything else. You're out here with dudes with low standards. And buying your dudes PS5s. And you got your dude up late at night playing Xbox Live and PS5. But not working towards his goals, not working to be better, not working to have more, not building anything. And then you get upset and you come out here and you say, oh, there's no good men. Or the builders are actually the ones with standards, the ones with goals, the ones with saying, I'm going to deal with this. I'm not going to deal with that. I got this standard. You need to work on my level. You need to be on my level. And what I'm noticing, there are a lot of you ladies out there that don't like men that say those things. So you settle and you fall back for these no standard, dusty, no goal strategy ass having men. You're asking for the men to lead, but you're not picking leaders. You're picking dudes that you got to kick their ass to get up and move every day. You got to remind them. And them dudes aren't built to last. And you're not going to be able to train them to last. It ain't your job. That comes from other men. He needs to be self-driven every day. He needs to be kicking his ass every day. And y'all just wasting time on bums. And you think that you're going to train them. First of all, a lot of y'all that think you're going to train them, you got kids. You just need to stay in your lane and be training your kids. You cannot be trying to train these grown-ass men. You shouldn't have to. They're men. There's a difference between men and women. Oh, man. But fellas, I get it. I get why some of you are down. I get it. But it's time to get up. I get circumstances. I get all of that. But you can't be continuing to sit. You can't be continuing to sit around and do nothing about it, fellas. And a lot of you are in your place in life because of your past decisions and people you've chosen to be around, people you've had in your circle that weren't good for you, women that you got with that wasn't good for you. And now you're out here, you're broke. You drowning in child support. Unmotivated for anything. It's time to get it together, fellas. Today. It's time. If any time to do it, to get your shit together, it's 2020, because y'all see how this year is rocking. That's why y'all seeing so much of me right now. I went through my little lull at the beginning when Rona first started, some struggles. I've had my own issues with depression and feeling down and low self-value, low self-worth, low self-esteem. But I've been in therapy. And that's not to say that, oh, I'm perfect, or I don't still have daily struggles, because I do. I still have daily struggles. But I get up every morning and I try. I'm getting older. It's getting a little harder because I'm be tired. This shit. This old age is catching up to me. But, I get up and I make the effort. I get it done. Sometimes slower than I should, but for the most part, I get it done. And y'all need to be getting things done. You need to be having lists. You need to be marking things off. The steps to your goal. Marking things off. If I tell you that, all right, I need you to do this particular task. Let's say it's a large task. Let's just say you're at your job and the boss gives you something to do. It's something that you're not just going to be able to run off and do and complete right away. Something that requires steps to complete. Your boss is going to check with you along the way how far you have come in completing that project. He's going to want to see what you have done so far. You can't, when he come and ask you, be irritated with him and say, I'm trying. That's not what he gonna want to hear. He gonna want to see what you've done that contributes towards completing the task, and you need to be able to show it. And I told y'all in the last video, if you ain't seen it, then you need to go watch it. I told y'all I have spent years of my life being in relationships with people trying to chase something that I never completed because my efforts and my energy were put into making them happy. And at the end of these series of long relationships, I came out with less than what I went in with. That's failure, fellas. That's failure. So I've spent 12 years of my life failing myself, only to, within the last 4 years, attempt to play catch up. And 2020 has been the most progress that I've made in all of this time towards my dream. And I know a lot of you fellas are in the same place. I know a lot of you fellas are probably even further back than I am. That's nothing to be proud of. It's time to get to work, fellas. And ladies, you ain't off the hook either. You're not off the hook. Because you're picking these men. You're getting with these men. These men aren't hiding this. This is not something that's hard to hide. And so many of y'all be like, oh, he was a great actor. The hell he was. You've seen all the red flags. It's easily, this just scuffs my Timbs. It is so easy to see what kind of person you have in front of you by what you're seeing, what they're doing with themselves and their lives and what they do for a living. It's right there. You can't hide that shit. If you meet your mans and your mans ain't doing nothing, that's a telltale sign that he is going to continue to do nothing. If he ain't motivated for himself, how the hell you think he gonna be motivated for you and the relationship with you? If his life is just evidence of living the bare minimum, what do you think you are going to get out of him? The bare minimum. See, too many of y'all, including myself at one point in time, have just walked through life doing just enough to get by. And your whole life is a struggle. And you're so used to the struggle. When you realize it's the struggle, but you want to be comfortable. I for the life of me, I don't understand how y'all get comfortable with the struggle. I don't get it. I ain't ever been comfortable with the struggle. And let me tell you this. I probably have a little more than the average person, and I'm still not where I need to be. Because in order to have these things, I'm carrying debt. I don't want to do that. I ain't trying to do that. I'm not trying to retire with debt. But I live all right, but I work hard, and I'm paying the cost to be the boss. And it's a big cost. And a lot of y'all don't want to pay the cost to be the boss. You just want to be the boss and think being the boss should be handed to you without doing no work. It's not how this works, fellas. I would have dudes come up to me. You know, back in the day, I used to have a Dodge Charger. All right, hold on, y'all, hold on. I had a Dodge Charger. It was nice, and it was fire. And sorry, I need to send this message. And I would have cats asking me, "Yo, I wish I could afford that, bruh. It's a $30,000 car that had a $300 car payment. How could you not afford that?" How? How could you not afford that? How is that a dream unreachable to you? How? Without telling y'all my business, I got car payments with an S. I live in a house. I pay a lot of rent to live in. And boy, it's the struggle. It's a struggle. But I'm building this so this isn't a struggle. And I see a lot of you guys out here that's struggling with way less. You're in situations that's dragging you down. You're in situations where you're expected to have a significant contribution to the household. You are dating someone with kids and you trying to help them with their kids and raise kids, and you can't even help yourself. That's not being a man, gentlemen. I am a perfect example of what some of you are right now. I've been there. I've tried to be stepdaddy at the expense to being a daddy to my own kids. I've made mistakes that I'm still paying for. But I have grown and I have manned up more than I've ever had to. And that's manning up based on the standard that was set for me by my father, not some woman. And I get some of y'all didn't have daddies, but you got to be smart enough to look for some kind of mentor. Somebody out there, whether it's an older person or whether it's one of your fellas, somebody that's successful in your friend group, and you need to look at them. You need to look at the 5 closest people around you. And if you ain't got a successful person in the group, you hanging with the wrong people. It's time to stop the excuses. This is for everybody. It's time to stop the excuses for everybody. Because ladies, y'all out here making excuses too. Y'all out here not doing what you need to do for yourself as well. And then you get laid up with these bum ass dudes that are doing the same thing. Now, both of y'all are sitting in the struggle, accomplishing nothing. How would y'all want to settle for that low, basic ass standard? How could you even be with a man that's going to settle for that low, basic standard? Oh, I know why, and I'm going to say it. I said I wasn't going to say it at the beginning, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. And you're going to be mad. You see, y'all settle for this because them kind of men you're able to control. So you're able to control them because you have leverage. Yeah, remember my episode I talked about leverage? You have leverage because they need you in some type of way. They need a foster home. They need a car. They need you they need you to have them on their insurance. They need you to have them on their cell phone plan. They need you to take care of them so you can exert a level of control because they need you. And see, a man that don't need you, you know ain't gonna put up with certain shit. You know you're not gonna be able to get away with certain shit. You know you are gonna be held to a standard. You know excellence is going to be expected of you. But you know a bum ass dude ain't gonna have high expectations but you to show up and open your legs, and that's easy. So you take the easy way out. Because a man with standards and that's shooting for excellence, that's producing and building, makes you feel some type of way about yourself because you feel that you do not meet them standards or you are not complete. And you already feel incomplete on your own. And then he comes in and makes you feel even more incomplete. So you settle for these bums because these bums is going to feed into your incessant need for reassurance. And your incessant need to be propped up and idolized and on a pedestal. And these builders, these producers, these dudes are not going to do that. So you settle, and then you go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and then after you tired of the bullshit, now you out here talking about fuck dudes, fuck men, they're all the same. No, we're not all the same. Your type is all the same, but we're not all the same. So you're just as guilty. You're just as guilty as these bum ass dudes are out here. Fellas, you might be in your feelings. I might be talking about you. You need to level up to be a high quality person. I'm not rich by any means. I wouldn't even say I got it like that. But you know what? I got the basics. I take care of myself. I pay my rent. I pay my bills. And it's a struggle sometimes. It's a struggle. I'm not in the position to try to take care of other people as I'm building. Having the basics shouldn't feel amazing. I need more. My savings account needs to be bigger. My retirement needs to be bigger. My preparation for emergencies should be bigger. I shouldn't just be out here just happy with the status quo, just happy just to have my head above water, just happy to be basic, just happy just getting by. Fellas, you shouldn't be either. And ladies, y'all need to stop picking these bums. Because I hear the same story. I hear the same story all the time. All the time. And then y'all want to walk around mad and upset and bitter and defensive about these shitty men that you've picked. But you picked them. And where they were in life and what them doing with themselves and their level of drive all shows. Men can't hide that. Y'all here listening to your friends, your family. Y'all here listening to people telling you bullshit instead of listening to real men telling you what the real is. Instead of out here listening to real men telling you what's 100 or 100, and stop listening to these dudes that's feeding into your narcissism, that's feeding into your self-centeredness, that's feeding into your self-absorption. That is not going to get you the kind of man that you need, because the kind of man that you want ain't going to deal with that kind of stuff. Builders ain't dealing with that. Producers ain't dealing with that. Men that demand excellence are not dealing with that. Men that are not putting your vajayjay on a pedestal, that don't need you, are not dealing with that. Now, if you want a man that's just going to feed into the narcissism and the self-centeredness and self-absorption, then the bum-ass dudes is the kind of men that you're going to get. The fuck boys is the kind of men that you're going to get, because they're going to tell you anything you want to hear just to get in them draws, and you're going to fall for it. And some of y'all are falling for it, one after another, after another, after another, after another. So, you need to look to see if your man's is competitive. You need to look to see what his dreams are. You need to look to see what his goals are. You need to look to see the steps that he's taking to achieve them. You need to assess and analyze how serious he is and what he's doing to achieve them. Those are easy things to do. You need to be able to assess whether you have a builder or you have a dreamer. This is the real, y'all. Like, this shit is serious, and y'all are out here playing, and you're so upset about the losers that you keep running into, but it's your fault. Fellas, it's your fault where you are. It's your fault. The kind of women that you're choosing. You want the baddie. Some of y'all is dealing with some of the most no good women ever. Got no drive, got no ambition to be a better woman, that's out here just using and abusing her body and her mind. And y'all will roll with these women, but then as you mature and you get older, or somebody knock you upside your head and you realize that you want somebody to marry, that's not the kind of woman you want to marry. You learn real quick. You learn that that's not the woman that's going to help you. That's not the woman that's going to help you build, that is going to be able to represent you well. She ain't it, bruh. Stop fooling with these kind of women. But the only way that you're going to get away from these kind of women is by you being serious about your success. And you're going to have to fail a few times to get there. And you're going to have to keep failing until you get there. But some of y'all are scared of failure. That's where the character is built. Anything that you have around you right now, a car, a TV, or whatever, do you think those things got produced without failure before they got to their current state and to the store and in your house or in your possession? Do you know how many times these companies had to fail at products and fail at things before they got it right? That's life. It's time to get it right, get it tight, y'all. All right, y'all. Man, I feel like I did an hour of preaching. Hope this bonus episode was worth it. But that's what you need to do to be competitive, fellas. You slacking on the job and it's time to get with it. It's time to get with it. And ladies, it's time to pick better. It's time to do better. Some of y'all are out here failing too. Some of y'all are out here doing the bare minimum for yourself. Now, I've told y'all in the past that dudes, we don't care about your accomplishments. We don't care about your degrees. We don't care about your jobs, which holds true. We don't. But we expect at the very least that you are able to take care of yourself, at least at baseline. And if you have kids, be able to take care of yourself and your kids. So it is not the expectation of you when your builder comes along that he takes care of you. Because see, some of y'all got it fucked up. Y'all think that you just deserve that just because. But a builder and a producer is going to want to know, what can you do to help him go further? How can you represent him? And if you don't got your shit together, you can't represent him. You can't help him go further. You are going to be a liability. And you need to be able to show the good men that you want, the producer, the builder, that you are an asset, not a liability. No one wants to walk into liabilities, especially when they got their own. Fellas, you need to come in as an asset. You need to be an asset before you can even be in position to say whether somebody is an asset or a liability to you. Because two liabilities is just gonna be straight trash. Y'all gonna be suffering. And how you gonna lead, fellas, if you're a liability? How does that work? It doesn't. Give her something to follow. And in order to give her something to follow, you need to get your shit together. Today, get it together. But that's the end for the bonus show, y'all. This was unplanned. I just popped in and did this today because somebody went in my DMs and listened to the podcast and said, "Hey, you said you was going to talk about the fellas." And you're right. I did say I was going to talk about the fellas. I was going to address them. So I'm addressing y'all now. Get your shit together. Now, season 2, y'all, coming up. We talking advanced. We in advanced topics in season 2. I don't know when season 2 gonna drop yet. Remember, it take time to make this content. I think we just popped this off real quick, fast. This shit, it take time. Season 2 it's gonna be good. Trust that. But this is the Deeper One, ending the bonus episode of season 1 of the Deeper Love podcast. Thank you for listening. If you do not follow me anywhere and you found me, find me at Deeper One. Follow me, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. It's DEEP, the number 3R1. This is the Deeper Love podcast. Signing off. I am out.